All right, we're here with Sydney Elise Doberstein-LaRock and
Donna Jean Walton.
Born on
August 8th, 1941.
In what city?
Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
We're doing an audio recording on August 3rd, 2020. And I have a couple questions. What's your favorite qualities of being a grandma?
Just the ability to spend quality time with you. I liked that we looked after you kids after your mom went to work, and we actually had a life with you kids.
What I want to know is what you hope for in my life. What would you like?
In your life?
Yeah, in my life. What would you like to see happen?
I would like you to make the kind of choices that will bring you great results and great happiness.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to me if I'm struggling?
Never give up.
When I think about my grandma, the main things that I remember are just how much she loved her family, how thoughtful she was, how funny she was, and how she'd do anything for her family. Telling my story is important because if I could help even one person feel a little bit less alone, seen, or heard, it might help them in their grieving process. And that, to me, is worth it. I didn't know medical assistance in dying was a thing in Canada. It still seemed so new, and the laws are changing all the time. I feel like not enough people know about it.
So how are you feeling about today?
Honestly, a little bit nervous. Yeah, just to enter back into grief, revisit some of the experience that I haven't gone through in a very long time. I mean, it hasn't even been 2 years since Grandma died. But I know that I need to make this because, like, the main thing is to have a resource for somebody, because I didn't have one when I was in the thick of my grief. And I want people to be able to watch this and see themselves in this experience and understand that they're not alone and that there are people out there, other families that have been processing grief like mine. Hello. Hi. Hi, Mom. Smells good in here.
I'd like to be free bun.
Darwin.
Buddy.
Oh my gosh. Come on.
Buddy. Come on.
Hi, Grandpa.
Oh, hi, nice to see you.
Oh my gosh. The flowers are so pretty. Grandpa's had yellow carnations every single month. Well, pretty much the entire time since Grandma passed away. These were her favorite flowers, and yellow was the exact color that she always loved. It's so sweet. I actually even got a tattoo because of it. Yeah, that was the celebration. Mm-hmm. That was kind of weird to plan ahead of time while she was still alive.
I think we chose her birthday because we knew her friends would be thinking about her anyways.
Oh, there she is. When I think about my grandma on her last few days, she was full of smiles. I don't think she ever once complained to me about the pain she was in, but we all could sense she was uncomfortable.
She asked me to put a Snapchat filter on, a filter so that she didn't look so, well, at the end of her life.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, ooh, I look cute.
I just remember sitting there as their daughter and thinking, how is it possible? Like, are they talking about something that I don't know about? Like, how are they so strong? I was feeling a wreck. But Dad was incredible, Mom was incredible. They were just stoic. And he just kept saying, it's because I know it's what she wants. It's exactly what she wants. What more could we want for her?
That's sticking out of your camera. A duster or a flower?
Yeah, so that Danny can go around and dust the house while they're here. Isn't that nice?
It's like you're walking with the TV center. It's amazing. She was restless. She was, the breathing was fine, everything was going fine, but she was restless. And she said, I'm just going to go into the bathroom. And I said, okay, I'll go in the bedroom. And I went in the bedroom, and something wasn't quite right. Because I heard her, like she was talking, and I could hear her fussing a little bit, and then I heard nothing. Then I came back into the bathroom, and she was sitting on the toilet, and her eyes were open, and her mouth was open, but there wasn't any life. And she started to go for the tub, or the in between the tub and the toilet. And that's when I was able to grab her and take her out of there and put her on the floor outside the bathroom, and then while I'm dialing 911, and I got this fella on the phone. He was great, and I told him that was the problem, that my wife is dying and she's not breathing, and he says, okay, just take your hand up towards the breastbone up there and keep pushing. Just keep pushing. The ambulance is on its way. I thought it took a long time to get there, but they were there pretty fast, I think. And but the whole time that I was doing that, she wasn't moving at all. There was no blinking of the eyes or anything. Just and then when they came in, there was 3 of them, 2 guys and a girl, and they must have worked on her for another half hour before they got her in the truck. Yeah. It was bad. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah, they were really working hard. And then all of a sudden, one of the doctors looked over at us, and he went like this, which to me meant that she had come back, or something had happened anyway. And sure enough, they were able to take her finally up to a room, and she was there for quite a while, I think.
Well, that was it, Dad. She didn't come home after that.
No, that was it. That's right. Yeah.
No, and so you saved her life, and you bought us 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I've always thought about that fella that was talking to me on the phone, that I wished I'd been able to thank him, first of all.
You may still, if we can find him. Yeah, I mean, you'd had no training, Dad, and you did it. You did it.
Yeah, that was a terrible night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really tough.
And then when she was in the hospital, though, she was able to have those conversations and those moments with us. So in a way, it was a gift, because it like Mom said, bought us
It was.
all that time with her.
Yeah. And I don't know, how long was the period of time before she ended up in her final room, and we started discussing MAiD,
1.5, almost 2 weeks, because we were 2 weeks in quarantine.
Oh, right, yeah,
It was
right.
in the middle of the second week that she
Yeah.
decided to do MAiD.
So I'm a family physician predominantly. That's what I do most. I'm working in Courtenay in BC on Vancouver Island. But I'm also a medical assistance in dying provider, and have been since the law changed in Canada to allow that since 2016. MAiD stands for Medical Assistance in Dying. It's where a physician or a nurse practitioner deliberately ends a person's life because the person has requested it because they have a serious and incurable illness and they're suffering intolerably. I came to see Donna at the Comox Valley Hospital because she had asked her own physician about medical assistance in dying. Her own physician contacted me because I'm one of the medical assistance in dying providers in the Valley. And I came to the hospital because Donna was in the hospital and was not able to come to see me. She was very sick. So the requirements are that a person has to have a serious and incurable illness, and Donna did. She had something called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. They have to be in what's called an advanced state of irreversible declining capability. Again, sadly, Donna was. She was essentially bedbound by her condition. The person has to be suffering intolerably, as per their own feeling about what their suffering is like for them. The person gets to decide what is intolerable. And at the time of Donna's request for medical assistance in dying, the law required that they have a reasonably foreseeable natural death. And again, sadly, Donna very definitely did. She'd had multiple admissions to hospital. She'd actually been in hospital for, I think, nearly 2 weeks when we met. And so she was eligible because of the severity of her illness and her suffering. And so two doctors, had to find her eligible after Donna had made a request for MAiD. And once those 2 assessments had been done, she was able to choose a date if she wished. And so for the next couple of hours, I think, Donna and I talked about medical assistance in dying. I learned from her what it was about her condition that made her interested in the possibility of her having a medically assisted death. And she learned from me what medical assistance in dying is, in a more generic way, but also what her medically assisted death might be like. And we talked about the fact that we try very hard to make a medically assisted death all about the person and allow them to, wherever possible, make the feeling of the medically assisted death right for them and their family.
When you found out, I'm just curious because we never talked about this, when Mom told you that she was wanting to do MAiD, what did you think? Like, what happened in your head?
Well, I guess at that time I wasn't aware of it as such. I don't think at any time I really disagreed with it because I didn't know. And then Dr. Regler, of course, a couple of times I went in and it was just me and him and your mom, and they're both talking and how it works and so on, and then I realized that I think that's the thing, because of my time when I spent at the Views. I was there for years, and I saw a lot of people dying that were just left to die, and sure, they're being looked after, of course, because that's why they're there, but it was, I found it tough because I spent some time with people that I knew, and the staff had told me that he's not going to make it through, this week, and we're just going to try and be the best. Would you mind doing this rather than that kind of thing? And I thought, wow, okay, that's the way it is. But and I don't know. Did your mom disagree with it or fight it, or did?
Oh no. When she decided, so a couple of weeks before she died, or maybe a week and a half, and she decided to do MAiD. That was when she decided to do MAiD. There was no question about it. And that's when Dr. Regler started interviewing her, and that's when he said that she has to be, first of all, a candidate, and she was.
Yeah. And
then she has to be certain on the day. He has to ask her 3 questions every time. She has to be certain.
That's right. She was very strong. Yeah.
On the Saturday, Dad, when the doctors came in and talked to her when I was there. I don't remember if you were there. They were asking her if she was good with the date she'd chosen, which was Tuesday, and she said yes. And they warned her that she may not make it till Tuesday because she was so sick at that point. And so they said, we're not sure if you'll actually make it till Tuesday. We have to be very honest with you. And I remember her saying, what do I have to do to make it till Tuesday? Is that important to me that I have this done my way with my family around me? And so they told her what she had to eat, what she had to drink, and she was determined because she really didn't like that boost drink. And they said, you have to have 2 of those a day. And she said, okay, then I will. And she wasn't drinking them. And that was how, I mean, I remember just sitting there thinking, she could die naturally between now and Tuesday, but she doesn't want to. She wants to wait till Tuesday and do MAiD, which is a pretty big statement.
Why do you think it was that she wanted so badly to have MAiD done? Or to make it until Tuesday?
I think people die the way they lived, or they want to die the way they lived, and Mom always wanted to have things done her way, you know, like she was always in control of things and very specific about things, and things had to be just right, hey? And so I think I don't think Mom wanted the disease to take her. I think she wanted to choose when she went and how she went. And I also think it was super important for her to have her family around her. And that was really the only way to ensure that.
Yeah.
Is to choose a time and a day and to be able to have her glass of wine. And
Well, she was probably the strongest person downstairs.
Yes.
You know, saying, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay." And I'm thinking, "Hello, you're the one that's going."
She was so sure. Her last words, do you remember her last words? Her last words to none of us, or to all of us, wasn't, "I'm going to miss you, I love you." It was, "I want you to all know this is exactly what I wanted." Unbelievable, like so certain.
Yeah, I really want to create something that changes the conversation around grief and around MAiD so that it normalizes it for people in the future that are processing grief that's related to it specifically, and that they can have a resource or a tool or some sort of content that makes them feel seen and heard. Because I didn't have that when I was going through it, and it was kind of isolating, honestly.
Yeah, because not many people talk about it, I guess.
No, and it's kind of a taboo subject, and people don't know how to relate to it because it is new. It's only been since 2016. And even though it's very common in the Comox Valley, nobody outside is really talking about it. And it's strange when you're like, "Hey, my grandma chose MAiD." They're like, "What's MAiD?" "Oh, okay, now we have to educate before I can even access my grief. Now I have to do a job before I can even talk and just be listened to." It's a really strange experience.